Hello, today in the studio I've got some clay that I'm going to reclaim. It's a mix of two clays. It's a white stoneware and a porcelain. Anyhow, I've ended up with lots of scraps. It went really hard, rock hard, and now I need to reclaim it. Reclaiming clay isn't something that I did very much in the beginning of my ceramic journey. I thought that it was just a laborious job that was unnecessary, and that it was fine just to get your clay neat out the bags when they come from your pottery suppliers. What I failed to understand was that I was actually wasting quite a bit of money by not reclaiming. Yes, it is laborious, but I've saved so much money now that I am reclaiming my scraps of clay and don't have to order as much clay from the suppliers. So I thought that I would share this with you. So what I usually do is, once I've been throwing on the pottery wheel, any scraps I just put to the side and I collect them up over time. They dry out and that's absolutely fine. I have a bucket near the wheel, so that's my reclaimed bucket, as you can see. And here it's just got lots of hard, that's got porcelain in there, which I'll collect until it's about 3/4 full. And then I just literally top it up with water, cold water from the tap, enough to cover the clay that's in there, and then I allow that to sit for a minimum of 24 hours before trying to work with it. So the clay that I've got today that I'm doing has actually been sat in the water for about 2 weeks because I've been on holiday, and so that's, you know, really had chance for the dry clay to absorb all the water. There may be too much water. I haven't taken the lid off it yet. If there is, what I'll do is drain a bit of water off the top of it and then work whatever clay I've got left. The other benefit of reclaiming, keep shaking the table. The other benefit of reclaiming your own clay is that you end up with clay the right consistency depending on what your project is. So for example, if I was throwing plates, I want my clay to be a little bit wetter. So basically, I use the batches of reclaimed clay that are wetter than maybe some of the drier versions. So it gives you a bit more control actually over your clay and working it in the consistency that you like. So not only cost saving, but getting it to the right wetness or dryness, I don't know, to the right consistency. I think that's the word. Oh, just broke my bucket. That's all right, these buckets are quite good. Anyhow, let me get on and show you the process. Right, so I've just lifted the lid off of the bucket and I've got some random bits floating in here. Don't know what they are. Just get rid of them. They look like bits of, I don't know, plant or something. But we don't want them in our clay, so we'll get rid of them. Yeah, at the top of the bucket, it's quite watery. Give you an idea. There you go. And it was a big lump of clay, this. It wasn't even in little pieces. I think it was a bag that I'd mixed and just never ever used. And the whole thing went dry. So it is actually still quite solid in places. Right, so my magic tool that I use an awful lot in my studio is this stick blender. It's not specific for ceramics. In fact, you buy it for cooking. And it does the job for me. I have tried, because I know you can get specialist drill bits if you're doing like loads and loads of mixing of glazes, reclaiming clay, whatever. You know, if you're mixing up buckets of whatever, clay and water, you can get a drill bit. And I have done that, but I didn't get on with it as well actually. So I've gone back to my stick blender. My stick blender's getting a bit old. Get you to see inside the bucket as much as I can. So I've mixed it with the stick blender now for about 5 minutes, and it's probably a double cream consistency, I would say. Because it was in such a hard lump initially, and now I've agitated it already, I think what I'm going to do is leave it just to settle again for a bit longer, because I've broken up all that hard clay, so there's more surface area now, hopefully to absorb more water. So I'm going to let it do its thing by itself, and then come back again and give it another blend before I start putting it onto my plaster bat, which I've got ready here. Yeah, I'll be back soon. A few hours has now passed, and I'm going to stir up the reclaimed clay that I've got here again. So it's had a few hours to settle again. I'm going to see how it is this time. So that's feeling a lot thicker. It's not got lumps anymore. See if I can show you the consistency. So yeah, it's quite thick. Now you could, if you wanted to, sieve it after this. Sieve it when you put it onto the bat. And that would get even more lumps out. I could leave the lid off and let the air evaporate a bit more. Let the air evaporate. Let the moisture evaporate a bit more. Because it is actually, I still think it's quite runny to put on the bat. But I'm going to do it for the purpose of showing you. So here's my plaster bat. What I will do though is prop it up on something. There we go. And literally all I would do now is pour the clay onto the bat. And I'd usually use a ladle for this. So I'm going to go and see if I can find a ladle. Right, I have my ladle. And I'm just going to scoop out the clay onto this bat. Get as close as I can because I usually make a mess of this. There you go, you get an idea of the consistency. There we go, I think I'm going to leave it at that much for now. Leave it now until tomorrow morning and come and have a feel and see if it's ready to be turned over. And then I'll just keep doing that every half a day. 12 hours have passed. Usually you can kind of see the edges. Oh, it is still quite wet though. Curling up. Ah, there you go. So it is drying out quite quickly. It's not there yet though. It won't be long though. I'm surprised at how quick it's drying out. So I'll probably leave this for another 4 to 6 hours. Then I'll wedge it and pop it in a bag. And then I will pour some more on the bat and just keep doing that until I've reclaimed all my clay. It's now a few hours later and this clay looks like it's drying really, really well. So I'm going to give it a knead on my board and see how it is. You know, I'm not too worried about that either. Let's give it a very quick knead to mix it up. So that's been 24 hours. It's not been wet. It's been a little bit wet, not much. Hasn't been sunny. It's been really windy, if anything. For the climate. So 24 hours in September in the UK. It's been fine for this clay. We're going to do it roughly because I'll need it again anyway if I throw on it. Bag it up. Make sure it's sealed. And go again. Give the slip another mix up. Water has risen to the top again. The other thing that's going to affect the drying time is the thickness and the size of your bat. So I'll repeat this process again. I'll come in tomorrow morning, flip the clay over, come back in the afternoon, hopefully wedge it up to go with my other batch. That is how you reclaim clay. How easy is that? It's not even that hard.